I feel like you've got this specialism that's honing and honing and honing in this area of subject matter that you actually specialize in. And then we got to talking about what does a subject matter expert look like? And, and I feel like every time I talk to you, like this flood of passion comes from you of like how you talk about your students and also about the work that you do. But I'd be interested if you could share with the listeners what you think your concept of a subject matter expert is, and do you think you are one?
Yes, I always find that question quite interesting. I think we did talk about this. I always see myself as a learner and a continual learner, because I feel like when you work in education, you have to continuously learn. I mean, I work in the creative industries and I work in education. Both fields are changing frequently, with AI innovation, with educational reforms, everything's changing. So I feel like you have to learn to grow and change with it. And I would say, if anything, I'm more of a continuous learner. And to be a subject matter expert, I feel like you have to always be open to learn, to digest, to absorb new information, to be the best at your game. Because I feel like the moment you think you know everything is the moment you essentially know nothing, because you've lost sight of what's the next step, what's the next thing. So for me, I feel like as a subject matter expert, if anything, I'm a continuous learner where I'm learning from my team, the world, society, my students, the people around me.
I think you've also got to just take into consider, because we talked about this responsibility of knowledge, right? Because an example of a bad subject matter expert for me is someone who thinks they know it all, because as you and I both know, they're not refreshing their knowledge, and they become actually a danger to their audience because they're dictating things that are possibly out of date, might not be relevant for the people sitting in front of them, and it gives a false perception of what real is. So for me, that's just a bad example of a subject matter expert. Whereas I feel like you are a good example where you're not only improving that knowledge and enhancing it over time, you're being responsible with how you disseminate that knowledge or experience when you are educating others. Because don't forget how much time, I mean, even as a little person. So if you had to think back to being a little person because you were scanning and learning as a little person with those complex background issues up until today, that's how much your knowledge, experience in terms of years actually lies.
Confidently navigate your brand's future, fit for purpose and poised for success.